So basically, the UK is being occupied by a government that's actively working against its own citizens. And they're trying to effectively speedrun V for Vendetta. That's what's happening.
It feels like everywhere in the UK is breaking out into protest at the moment. The scale of it is unlike anything I can remember. And we'll take a look at it in this video, but it's huge. In fact, there are too many protests for me to keep track of or even dream of hoping to cover.
Great.
And that is a good thing. The left, by comparison, funded by the Socialist Workers' Party, seem to be running out of capital and manpower.
Well, they're also running out of... The thing is that a lot of these leftist causes, their economy truly is emotion. And so, to the extent that they can no longer emotionally manipulate people to make them agree to give up their homeland and to allow rapists to run free in their country, to the extent that they can't do that, their power is gone. They don't have any power.
And why exactly are the fine people of Nuneaton out in protest? Well, I'll tell you, it's because two Afghan men living in the local migrant hotel that the government dumped into their community are alleged to have committed a very serious assault against a 12-year-old. Now, I'm not going to go into any more...
No way! No way! How does this keep happening? Oh my God! It's frustrating a lot of British people and a lot of Europeans because they're saying, well, why are you coming here to our country when there are, you know, dozens of other Muslim countries and you're not going over there? So you're coming to our country. You want us to accommodate your social norms. You want us to accommodate your worldview. You want us to accommodate your religion. But at the same time, why are you even here in the first place? What is this? No, that's wrong. No, it's not. It's not. It's true. It's true. That's, if you think that there's not a religious component to this, why the fuck does everybody bring up the fact that the most popular name is Muhammad? Well, I'm going to tell you why. It's because it's religious. It's religious and ethnic. If you don't think that, you're fucking delusional. I don't think that British people are like unique in this regard. I think that if like you go to China and a bunch of people come to China and they want to change China to be more like where they came from, well, the Chinese are going to get mad about that. If you go to Russia and you try to change Russia to the country that where you came from, they're going to get mad about that. So this is basically a breaking of that conditioning of racial guilt. That's what's happening here. That's the reason why it's happening. Now, you're not going to get this commentary from a lot of other people. The reason why is that it's not the it's not the politically correct way to say it.
It wasn't just Bournemouth, it was Epping.
The women of Epping are leading the charge to shut down the migrant hotels. They are now sitting in the...
Having women being involved in this is a lot bigger than people imagine. A lot of things, and I think that this is what's true with a lot of like liberal media, is that liberal media, and it's partially true, like, you know, a lot of guys, like we just saw that study the other day, that many people nerf their politics and their social views in order to date somebody who is more different than they are politically. And I think this is very, like, it's primarily men that are more conservative that pretend to have liberal values in order to attract liberal women. This is what happens. It's obvious that this is what happens. And so because of that, whenever there are women that are going to these protests and women that are doing Nazi salutes and women that are saying that, you know, let's deport every person that's, you know, a Muslim, if there's women that are doing that, men will follow them. And men will feel more comfortable expressing those viewpoints because those viewpoints no longer remove them from the sexual marketplace. They're going to, I think, prosecute, and I think there's going to be a lot of vigilante. This is what I think will happen. I think that if these people take over, they won't do it systematically, but they just simply won't protect them. They'll effectively allow these people to be killed. I don't think they're going to do it themselves. They're just going to ignore it happening. We get a Batman. Well, that's what I'm saying, right? That's where I think things are going to go. Did Maryland guy ever come back to the U.S.? I have no idea, actually. I don't know where things are. Like South Africa? Yeah, sure. I don't think it'll get that far. It's not medieval times. Okay. Well, you can clip what I'm saying. Yep, clip what I'm saying. What they're concerned about is that kids that are brought up, and this is the same reason why a lot of religions indoctrinate children early, almost every sort of cultural apparatus begins at childhood. And the indoctrination into that cultural apparatus begins in childhood. Whether it's a religion, whether it's a political ideology, whether it is a pattern of behavior, it's all the same. So because mainstream media is losing that, they're losing that control, these kids are growing up on watching Nick Fuentes. They're growing up watching Andrew Tate. And guess what? That paints a very different picture than the BBC does.
Maybe that's a message to you to start covering the issues that people really are interested in.
And this guy's actually bringing up a good point. He's doing this in good faith, and I think that he knows that they're doing it on purpose. But I think it's a good point. Yeah, and the BBC can fix this whenever they choose to. All they need to do is simply change the way they report on issues, but they don't want to do that. And so they don't want to compete in a free market of ideas. They want to be the market of ideas.
If you did a 1 hour segment on the protests from this weekend, I guarantee you it would get millions of views, but you don't want to do that, do you? Because you have a political agenda. So yeah, you can't just go to Ofcom and say, oh, YouTube are pushing people like British Lander harder than they're pushing us. Whatever, get over it, okay?
Yep.
You can either imitate us and start talking honestly about the issues that we're talking about, or you can just fade into irrelevance.
Yeah.
And frankly, I don't care which you choose.
They should fade into irrelevance. Having massive international media conglomerate corporations is something that's actively against the best interests of the public. These companies, again, these are publicly held companies. Publicly held companies have no obligation to the truth. BBC, I understand, is not, but it's the same general idea. They have no obligation to the truth. They have an obligation to shareholders. Fox News is the same. CNN is the same. Whatever, Sky News. I don't know about Sky News. I'm not sure. But all of these different places, news is secondary to profit. Free market. And that's what the internet has done, is they've created a free marketplace of ideas. The internet has created a free marketplace of ideas. And I think that that's why people were so against Elon Musk buying Twitter, is because Elon Musk buying Twitter created a free marketplace of ideas. Somebody like Hassan can be on Twitter, and somebody like Nick Fuentes can be on Twitter. Welcome to the show. Anybody can be there. Anybody can express their viewpoint. Great example of what I'm saying.
Peaceful protests, more and more people will start to gather. It will snowball. And the people that will now decide that they're going to turn out will no longer just be 25-year-old aggrieved young men. You'll start to see a lot more women and a lot more elderly people coming in.
Oh, he's saying it. He's saying it. See, now he's picking up. Everybody's picking the shit up. Yep.
And that is exactly the kind of optics that the BBC and the Sky News hate. Because they don't want to put a story out about how...
That's right. Yes, they want to compartmentalize it into being lonely incels that can't get girlfriends are now complaining and they want fascism. That's what they want to do.
500 women from Epping came out dressed in pink to a protest against the local migrant hotel because they're really worried about their children. They want to put out a story about how 20-year-old guys wearing balaclavas smashed up a bunch of police vans. So again, I think it's really, really important to keep these peaceful protests going, and you'll start to see the effect snowball. More and more people will have the confidence to come out and join you. They'll bring their families.
He's completely right about everything that he's saying here, by the way. And if you look at the majority of social change, for example, Martin Luther King, I think this is a great example of this. Martin Luther King led forward civil rights. And yeah, you had other figures like Malcolm X that were more, congruent with violence. Absolutely. But there's a reason why every fucking city has a Martin Luther King Boulevard and not every city has a Malcolm X Street. Martin Luther King really was the one who carried it into the end zone. He was the one that really made it happen. But what happened after that is that the government, you know, whether it be LBJ or after that, took that, they took that idea and then they enforced it with the government. They forced desegregation of schools. And you want to know how they did it? With police officers. So it's not that violence isn't an option. It's that violence should not be the option that civilians choose. Civilians should look at petitioning the government to use violence to achieve the ends that they want. Like the National Guard. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, actually use the military. I don't remember the military. I haven't really thought about this in a long time. But like either way, it was the government doing it.
Do leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Go and watch my last video if you haven't, by the way. The Brits are angry one. Why Brits are angry. It's probably the most important video I've made. It's kind of tailored towards foreign audiences, especially Americans, because I noticed I got quite a few new American subscribers. So I just wanted to explain a bit of the backstory of why Britain is so frustrated.
Look at that.
And if you haven't seen that, I would have...
I think that political revolution coming to Britain, oh boy. This is a big one. Wow. What?
Special
Let me see, what is this? On September 13th, I will ask something of the British public, British patriots, that I would never ask anything of if you're willing to lead the charge. If certain individuals can ask for our throats to be slit with zero accountability or repercussions, that allows us free rein to defend ourselves in a manner that will rattle foreign hostiles and our government to their very core. Choose a side because this is ultimately what it's come down to. See you on the 13th and prepare your shields. Oh boy.